Okay, let's try this again. Sorry about that.
No worries. These things happen.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can pull up the screen again. Melissa, you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. To err is human, it takes a computer to really screw things up at the most inappropriate time. Okay. Arjuna Vacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sashvatam Devyam, Adidevam Jambum, Hus Tvam Ras Rishaya Sarve, Devarshi Naradastata, Asito Devala Vyasa, Shayam Chaiva Bhavishime. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Param, Supreme, Brahma, truth, Param, Supreme, Dhamma, sustenance, Pavitram, pure, Paramam, supreme, Bhavan, you, Purusham, personality, Shashvatam, eternal, Divyam, transcendental, Adidevam, the original Lord, Ajam, unborn, Vibham, greatest, Ahu, say, Tvam, of you, Rishaya, sages, Sarva, all, Devarishi, the sage amongst the demigods, Narada, Narada, Tata, also Asita, Asita, Devala, Devala, Vyas, Vyas. Shrayam, personally, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Bhavisi, you are explaining, me, unto me. Translation, Arjuna said, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Deval, and Vyas, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Go ahead, Mike.
Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher, for here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad-gītā in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously, Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods out of ignorance think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by his grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes the devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction.
Melissa, you read the next paragraph?
In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of his material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure, one who understands that Krishna is the... I'm sorry, where was I?
One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure.
Can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the supreme pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by the great personalities of whom Narada is the chief.
Yeah, that's the main point, is that only by devotional service can Krishna be known as he is. No one else can approach him by any other means. It has to have some kind of devotional service. In other words, Krishna only reveals himself to anyone by his will. And when Krishna is pleased, he'll reveal himself. Otherwise, he cannot be known by any other method. Austerities, charity, renunciation, taking sannyas, anything you might even think of, only by devotional service is Krishna known as he is. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all Vedic literatures, the Puranas, and histories. In all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter, quote, "Although I am unborn, I appear in this earth to establish religious principles," end quote. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Go ahead, Mike.
Here, Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad-gītā, we should accept the statements in these 2 verses. This is called the parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad-gītā. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person.
Yeah. Sometimes Bhaktivinoda used to say that this so-called education is actually just a way for us to become more entangled in illusion, because people become so puffed up with their academic education, and they're not really getting the knowledge from Krishna through the descending process. There's 2 processes, the ascending process and the descending process. We get our knowledge from hearing from the Bhagavad-gītā and through the spiritual master and from the supersoul within the heart. When one of those things, that's like the triangle of truth, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And by that, we determine what we do in life at every moment, because Krishna is always there in our heart. We can, we're free to act then. It's not like all these things are inhibitations on our activity. We're already controlled, but it's just a matter of who we're controlled by. But when we're Krishna conscious, then we have unlimited freedom. I'll read the Sanskrit, and Melissa, you can read the purport, okay?
Yeah.
10:14. Sarvametadritam anye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. Synonyms: sarvam, all; etat, this; ritam, truth; manye, I accept; yat, which; mam, unto me; vadasa, you tell; Keshava, O Krishna; na, never; he, certainly; te, your; Bhagavan, O personality of Godhead; vyaktim, revelation; vidu, can know; deva, the demigods; na, nor; danava, the demons. Translation: O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you've told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Go ahead.
Arjuna therein confirms that persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods, so what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood the supreme truth is Krishna, and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad-gītā. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad-gītā was lost, and therefore Krishna reestablished that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad-gītā should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system is lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna said should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad-gītā, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mike, you want to read the next verse?
Sure. 10:15. Svayam etmanatmanam vetatvam purushotamam uta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Synonyms. Svayam, personally, eva, certainly, atmana, by yourself, atmanam, yourself, veta, no, tvam, you, purusha uttama, O greatest of all persons, uta bhavana, O origin of everything, uta isha, O Lord of everything, deva deva, O Lord of all demigods, jagatpate, O Lord of the entire universe.
You know, this stupid thing is telling me I only have 10 minutes left, so I guess it thinks that this meeting is the same meeting. Anyway, we're going to have to end it a little bit early.
Translation. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe.
Okay, we'll take turns. I'll read up to the end of the Sanskrit part. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad-gītā. Bhagavad-gītā is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11, Varanti tattva vidas tattvam yashgyanam prameti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabjate. Go ahead, Melissa.
The supreme truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A common man or even a liberated man who is realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma may not understand God's personality. Such men therefore may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad-gītā, which are spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama, yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the father of all living entities, still one may not know him as the supreme controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesa, the supreme controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the worshipful god of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful god of all demigods, one may not know that he is supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is.
So we have about 6 minutes left. I guess this is to prevent people from like logging off, logging on, it's like the same thing. The only way we can avoid this is like if I paid for it, but anyway, that's it, dealing with technology. Bhagavad-gītā 10:16. I think we have time for like one or two more. Vyaktamarhasi asesena divya hiatma vibhuteya yabir vibhutibir lokan vid idams tvam vyatistati. Synonyms: Vaktum, to say, Arasi, you deserve, Asesana, in detail, Divya, divine. He, certainly, Atma, of your Vibhutaya, opulences, Yabi, by which Vibhuti be, opulences, look on all the planets, seem on these. Tvam, you, Vyapya, pervading, Tistasi, remain. Translation: please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Purport. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Yeah, it's basically just explaining it to the Mayavadis, because a lot of people can't even understand how a person, just like you're a person, I'm a person, Krishna is also a person, can be all pervasive. So Krishna is all pervasive by the Brahman effulgence. But, that Arjuna is just asking on everybody else's behalf, because it has to be explained that Krishna is within and between every single atom. He's within everyone's heart. He knows everything that's going on in the entire universe. Whereas we can only know what's going on within our own bodies. We can't know anything else. Mike, you want to read this one here? We got about 3 minutes left.
10:17. Katham vidyamaham yogims tvam sara parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintosi bhagavan maya. Synonyms: Katham, how, vidyamaham, shall I know, yogin, O supreme mystic, tvam, you, sara, always, parichintayan, thinking of, keshu, in which, cha, also, bhaveshu, natures, chintya asi, you are to be remembered, Bhagavan, O supreme Maya, by me. Translation: O Krishna, O supreme mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O supreme personality of Godhead? Can we keep going? Or?
Yeah, well, I think we have time. Maybe, yeah, we'll just continue to read, and it'd probably be that amount of time till the end of the class here. So then we'll pick up next time on the next verse.
Okay.
Go ahead.
As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yogamaya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend, Krishna, is the Supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin, because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yogamaya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considered the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words keshu keshu cha bhaveshu refer to the material nature. The word bhava means physical things. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations.
Yeah, sometimes they advise that like a neophyte will, or an impersonalist will try to, think of Krishna as the universal form, like the mountains or the trees or the hairs on his body, just to concentrate the mind, because they think that the universe is like a manifestation of something great. So they present that as Krishna. Does anybody have any questions real quick? We have less than a minute left. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, hopefully. Thanks for attending, Melissa. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Um,
I'm
I'm
like
just-
afraid to ask a question because